Welcome to Kevin's European Garage, and today I'm going to change the front sway bar bushings on this 2013 Porsche Cayenne. So as I previously talked about in my review of this car, I had plans on refreshing the front suspension. So I managed to get my hands onto onto some sway bar bushings, factory sway bar bushings at a reasonable price. So I decided I'm just going to put those in there, and this is part of my starting of my suspension overhaul or refreshing on this thing, because now it's approaching 100,000 miles. Let's get started. Okay, to get access to the sway bar bushings, we're going to remove this cover over here, which has got a few 10mm bolts on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to take down this cover. There might be a couple on the side over here too. Alright, looks like you got a couple bolts on the side over here, so we'll be taking those off too. So right up top over there is the other bolt right here. There's going to be one matching on the other side, so you can take those off to get the cover off. Okay, now that the cover is off, you can see that you have access to the sway bars. So right on top over here, you got these two bolts that hold the bracket, the upper bracket on, and here's the bottom bracket to the subframe. So we're going to be taking these off on this side and on the other side to get access to the bushings. All right, it's a 16mm socket to take these off. And now repeat it on the other side. All right, the passenger side one is giving me a little bit of a hard time. I would suggest before you try to do any of this stuff, maybe just spraying it down with a little bit of a lubricant, some penetrating lube to get in there, because this side is giving me a little hard time. But the driver's side came off pretty nice and easy. But like I said, this one is a problem. And here's one of the bolts. It just took a little bit to get it off. So after fighting with it, finally get the thing off. I just have to clean up these threads before I put everything back on. So I can take this bracket off. All right, so here's the sway bar. You can kind of see the bushings on here. Here's the bushings. To separate them, looks like you're gonna have to kind of pry them apart. Kind of lock in with each other. So there is a factory bushing. So now we're going to be replacing those. It looks like I'm going to break in the tab. Hopefully the tabs don't break when I put them back on, because that would be pretty bad. So now it's to work on the next one to try to take this one off. Not the easiest thing to film. It up and take it out. So here's the factory bushings. The other ones look slightly worn compared to the new one. So we'll be putting the new ones in, obviously, because I snapped that one over there. But we'll get these new ones in. First, before we put that in, we're just going to clean off the sway bar. So if you look over here, the sway bar has got this, I guess, ridge you would call it, and it lines up with these. You put that in. It's got a ridge right in the middle of it where you put them on. So you should be able to just slide them on and locate them without a problem. So I got the bottom one on. Now let's put the top one on. Okay, you see that these are on. The tabs aren't kind of locked in yet. So in order to get these things on there, completely remove the sway bar from the vehicle. We'll just do it on a bench. Big time trying to tighten those down is not going to make it work. So let's just take the sway bar out. Alright, let's get the sway bar out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this sway bar, now that I got this out of the vehicle, put it in the vise. And we'll see if I can get these bushings to line up. By putting it in the vise and tightening down on that way. Alright, see, that's basically almost there. Oh, look at that. One tab is in. Flip it around and do the other. There you go. It just took a little push. So now let's flip it over to the other side and do that one. Alright, one side. Now it's popped in. Alright, so now we got both sides popped in. This thing looks ready to go in now. Now that with this thing set up and this thing tight like this, I have a feeling that the bracket that goes on top is just going to sit much better. So let's get this in. Alright, now this will help to get this thing lined in place. Yes, it does. So look at that. So when you're doing it, put the bolts in. That'll help you line it up. Getting the alignment on this thing isn't as easy as you think it is. You can get the front bolt in. Get the rear bolt. It's a little difficult. Alright, passenger side is now done. Let's get over to the driver's side. That's tight, and now I'll tighten up this one. This is something that I'm not too worried about the torque on. Lift up your sway bar links. So the sway bar bushings, the sway bar and everything is all back now. So now the only thing that's left is to put on the cover. So thanks for watching Kevin's European Garage. Thanks for watching me change the front sway bar bushings on this car. It's a little bit harder than I thought originally, but still not that bad compared to, say, the strut. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll have some more stuff coming up in the future. All right, thanks a lot. See ya.